So I know I've been getting some requests about all the different mods that I have going on with my CBR600RR. So I thought I would go around the bike and explain everything that I have done to it. So one of the very first things I had done to it was actually PSR Lowering Links. And it is kind of tough to see, but they are right there. PSR Lowering Link, and that was able to get my bike down about 3/4 of an inch. And because when you lower it, you have to do something about the kickstand. And there are two options. That's usually whether you want to take your stock one and get it cut and welded, or whether you just want a separate aftermarket kickstand. And I went with the PSR Adjustable Kickstand. So it has different positions where you can adjust the height based on how much your lowering links lowered it. And yeah, that worked out. So those were kind of the first two things that I had negotiated with the dealership right when I took delivery of the bike to make sure that it was a comfortable height for me. I know there can be a lot of people who talk about the negatives of, you know, the handling, but for me, I'm not always dragging my knee on every single turn or going to the track every single weekend. So to me, it was more about the confidence and being comfortable in it. And if I had to give up a tiny bit of the extreme handling at extreme angle, that was okay with me. The next thing would be battery tender pigtail, which it was actually really easy to put in, but that allows me to hook up a battery tender to the bike. And I'll get my key. And as you can see, there's a couple other things I'll get to later, but there is the battery tender pigtail, which allows me just to hook up exactly that, a battery tender, to keep my bike powered up and the battery in good condition over the winter, or if there's a time that I don't ride it for a long duration. So next up after that were the TST Industries Front smoked turn signals. And those things are absolutely awesome. They look absolutely great. If anyone has a modern day bike, you kind of know how far those Dumbo ears stick out. They stick out several inches, and they are bright orange and pretty nasty looking. These are flush, and I went with the smoked versus the clear. And I know I'm getting a lot of light here, so in some light they might look a little clear, but they are definitely smoked. And I went with the white halo. I will say that they really don't show off a whole lot during super bright days like how it is kind of right now. They look fantastic at night. They look fantastic when it's overcast or cloudy. They look fantastic, you know, at dusk. But in bright daylight, it's kind of hard to tell the halo. The orange is bright orange. There's no question when they're blinking. I'll actually turn them on for you so you can kind of see the daylight. So it actually shows up better than I thought right now, but in direct sunlight, yeah, they're gonna get washed out a little bit. But it is very cool. I'm going with the whole black and white theme with my bike. Everything else is black. However, with lights, I wanted to go with white. They were, I'd say, pretty easy to put in. I mean, if you can take the side fairings off, you're pretty much good. And I think TST actually even gives you instructions where you don't even have to go even that far. They got some tips up their sleeve where you can just kind of, you know, get access to it with a line, if I recall. So I think the first time I did these, I didn't even have to really take the fairings off, which as a beginner mod, it's really great. Good bang for the buck, and really gives it a nice aggressive look instead of the stock Dumbo ears, if you will. Of course, I have the TST integrated taillight. I went with smoked as well. It is super clean. And if you probably already noticed, I also have the TST Carbon Fiber undertail. And everything it just works. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful product. It's super clean. I love the way it looks. Of course, like anyone, I think I kind of went back and forth several times. Do I want clear? Do I want smoked? Do I want clear when I want smoked? Personal preference. Probably depends on what color bike you have, or just what you're going for. I like the whole stealth look on my bike, so I went with the smoked, and then with the carbon fiber undertail. I will turn that on for you to show how that looks. There were a lot of people saying, hey, how bright is it when it's, you know, with the smoke one? Is it brighter with the clear? Oh yeah, sure, of course, but there's no question when it's on. This is just daytime running. So here's a brake press. And there is a setting that you just change on a button with that tail light. You can have it so it's just a single flash, so it's a multi-flash, which is what I have. I really like to get the people behind me their attention so they know that when I'm slowing down, there's no question. And that also goes, same thing with the rear brake and front brake, multi-flash. And you can also set up your turn signals. You can do a solid blink, you can do sequential. I really like the sequential. I think it gives a nice modern look to it. And I feel like it also kind of grabs people's attention as well. And it's great that the daytime running taillight is still on when the turn signal is activated. It doesn't go out, doesn't blink, it's just the half, which I think is really slick looking. And you get to see the turn signals in action too. There they are. No question when you're turning there. And of course when you turn them off, go back to center, you'll get the white halo, or whatever color that you chose to go with. If you do change your turn signals or your tail light, it is recommended to get a flasher relay. Basically, essentially what that is, it's not a requirement, it is just it's definitely a nice to have, but it allows you to change how fast or slow the turn signals will operate. And that just goes right under the main seat, and it's a little dial, and it just is a simple plug-in product. But when you go to LED lighting, it is something that will allow you to control the speed of it instead of being like a hyper flash or hyper blink. So once again, hands down, if there's one thing that is just going to change the look of your bike dramatically, it's got to be the TST integrated taillight and the turn signals. It's such a little subtle change, but at the same time, it makes a huge difference. It makes the whole entire bike look like a race bike, the way it should be. Going here, I got the CRG RC2 Adjustable Brake Lever and Clutch Lever. So I think the way this all started was I was going on a long road trip when I first got this, and after a while my fingers just started to tense up, to cramp up a little bit, and I was like, man, it would be really nice if there was a way where I could bring this in a little closer. And you know, did some research, found out there's all different types, all different kinds, every expensive kind, cheap kind, eBay kind. A lot of people say go with the eBay ones, so they're just as good. That's very possible, that's very much the case, but CRG is a very reputable brand, been in the game for a long time. They make solid products, and this is the RC2 line. They got, I believe, 6 different adjustments, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 for the clutch side. And basically all you do is you push this out, and then you click that, and done. Just made it go out wider, just made it go in closer. It's that simple, and it made it a lot easier on me to let the clutch out in stop and go traffic. If you're doing long durations, long rides, it makes it easier on your hand. So what you might have not noticed is on the brake side, not only is that one adjustable as well, but I went with the shorty on this one. And there is huge discussion on this, whether, you know, some people do, it's really common to go short on the clutch one as well. So I went with the asymmetrical. I went short with the brake, so it's definitely a shorter length, and full length, or regular size if you will, on the clutch side. I don't know if you are the same as me, but a lot of times during just, you know, light to moderate braking, a lot of times I'm just grabbing it with 2 fingers, and I'm not doing anything else with these other fingers. So I get to, you know, keep them and rest them on the bar, and some people will just do 1 finger, some people will just do 2 fingers, but it was just, I noticed for a while I just naturally was grabbing 2. Of course, if you're grabbing a handful of brake, you can still grab 3, and for me it's enough. It's enough. But naturally I was just grabbing 2, yeah, it was just really comfortable for me. So some people do short on both, some people will keep it long, and then there's, I think, a small group out there who are like me. They'll do short on one side or the other, and that was just a preference thing. So next up is the lithium battery, and I might have the full-size battery in here still, which, yes I do. This is the box it came in. Battery tender, and this was the battery and the item number I got. And what was really cool is in the box they give you all different sizes of pads, short, long, and thin. And basically what you get to do is, because they don't know exactly which bike or size bike you're gonna go for, or the cavity the bike's gonna go in, so they give you little foam things that you can to kind of fill in that extra space, because hands down it is dramatically smaller. This was the stock battery. Now, you know, all motorcycle batteries are small to begin with, so it's not like, you know, car battery or anything like that, but I wanted to see, was there really a difference? And so I decided to weigh them. This weighed 7.2 pounds on the scale. The one I put in the bike, the battery tender, 2.2. Exactly 5 pounds on the nose, weight savings, which if you ride, you know that's huge. If you ride a 600, that's gonna make even a bigger difference. People are like, oh, is it gonna make that difference of an acceleration? It's not just the acceleration. It's 5 pounds less that you have to brake. It's 5 less pounds that you have to lean. You know, yeah, 5 pounds that you do have less that you have to accelerate, but it's all the things. Weight reduction, you guys already know. When newer models come out and bikes get lighter, we go crazy. So for $100 and some odd, losing 5 pounds, sure. And it's lithium too, so works great with the battery tender. What I love about the battery tender though is that they give you the negative and pluses on both sides, which is just awesome, which is fantastic. So no matter which way it's oriented, you're gonna be able to reach it with your stock cables. All right, getting into performance mods here. So I do have the Bazzaz Z Bomb, because this is a 2011 CBR600RR. So if you are blessed enough to have, I believe it was, gosh, I think it was 2008, 2007. Hopefully I'm recalling that correct. But the slightly older model CBR, you could wind them out, and the top end was really strong, and it made slightly, you know, handful more horsepower up top. The later years, I don't know, I want to say it was maybe 2000, starting in 2010. I hope I'm not getting that off. If I am, just correct me in the comments. But at least 2011, 2012, I know for a fact that they kind of killed the top end a little bit for emission reasons. Some people say it was for, you know, actual regular gas emissions, or some people say it was actually for noise emissions. Either way, it tapers off. It tapers off around, you know, 13, 14,000 RPMs. Actually, it might be even earlier than that, maybe around 12,000 RPMs. And that Z Bomb allows you to get that horsepower back, which is really nice. That's just a plug and play module. That gets installed right around under here. And that wasn't too complicated. It was a tough reach for some wiring harnesses, but it goes behind that panel. And that got some top end power, which I did before and after dyno, which I can post. Along with the Bazzaz Z Bomb, I also did back to the Akrapovic, and I know I'm saying that and I'm butchering the name. Some people say Akrapovic, either way. This slip-on, and it is a slip-on, it's not the full. I did not go for the full. Do I regret it? It's just so expensive. This is one of the more expensive slip-ons, and I love it. Absolutely love it. The sound is completely opinionated, but gosh, to me, it's exotic, it's smooth. It's not the loudest. If you want the loudest, don't get this one. Do not get it. Is it louder than stock? Absolutely. I got another video in my channel that you can see the before and after, stock versus the slip-on. I've been riding since, I think, yeah, minute one without the baffle. If you want the exotic sound, keep the baffle out. Does it make it a little louder? Yeah. Does the baffle make it a little quieter? Yeah, but hey, you're upgrading this for a reason, right? You want that full exotic sound? Keep the baffle out, and you know what, save a couple ounces at the same time. To me, once again, incredible sounding exhaust. Check out my other video for the comparison, but super happy with it, and I love the look. Just absolutely, that center, and they call it like the hexagon. It's that's sexy. That's sexy. Next power mod, and you probably might have noticed this from earlier on, the Bazzaz ZFI. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Do yourself a favor though, just don't save up for it, plug it in. You know, spend the extra money, actually get it dyno tuned. That's really where you're gonna extract the rest of the power. I know there's auto-tuned stuff that you can do with it. I'm sure it works actually really well, but there's nothing like really ringing it out and getting a tuner who knows what they're doing to do it on a dyno. I paid for that, also got the before and after dyno. It's a nice difference. It definitely gives you that top end back, which, you know, these are CBR600s. They're not the most powerful 600 bike. They're not the most powerful bike in the class, but we have the advantage of the weight. So when every horsepower we can get significantly makes a difference. And this allows you to get it up to par, and then I would say probably even exceed a lot of those other 600s that are from the factory. So in combination with that and our lightweight, especially when you get rid of you know, the exhaust and the integrated tail, all that weight savings with this power, it changes the bike. And of course, here we are to the Tripage dual low and high LED headlights. This is probably, I would go along with my top three aesthetic mods, along with the TST smoked flush turn signals and the TST integrated taillight. These Tripage dual LED low high headlights is what the CBR has been craving for stock. We know that they have LED headlights on the new 1000, the Fireblade, but the 600 still has the, you know, one punched-eyed look, or the people go, oh, you have a headlight out, yeah, thanks, yeah, I get it, I know. But they're LED, they are brighter, they look amazing. This is low. This is just with the key in the regular part. I'll turn this on high. And I mean, it's a huge difference. I have a quick teaser video of showing them on as well, but this is hands down an incredible game changer for the look and, hey, functionality too. You can never be seen enough. So at night, huge difference. Love the way they look. Love the safety factor. Love the functionality. Love it, love it, love it. Top three aesthetic mods. Here is probably the tiniest mod, and maybe one of the, which you consider one of the silliest ones, but a mod is a modification, and here's one I did, is I took the little strap off the seat. I know some people will go with the rear cowl, which is really nice. I keep going back and forth whether I want to do that. I don't ever have passengers, that's why I also took off the passenger pegs. And I got these little plugs and got spray paint and color matched them. They look like bolts. They are not bolts. These two guys right here, they are not bolts at all. They're just plastic. They were plastic spray painted to fill the holes of the passenger pegs. Got those at an auto parts store. I want to say just a couple dollars. And then, you know, whatever it was, $5, $7, $8, $9 for spray paint, and color matched them. I think it was some type of Rust-Oleum, and looks great. So since I knew I wasn't gonna have a passenger, took those pegs off and also took that strap off. Silly, maybe kind of dumb, but you know, kind of thought it helped the lines a little bit and cleaned up the back of the bike. All right, on to one of the more fun mods. This does have a -1 and a +1 sprocket. -1 up front, of course, and +1 in the back. Also upgraded to the EK 3D chain and changed the pitch from 525 to 520. Going from 525 to 520, going -1 up front, +1 in the back. Wow. Absolutely if you want to know a difference, not think you feel a difference, not think you gained 0.5 horsepower, 1 horsepower, if you want the feeling of added torque, and like I said, I emphasize feeling, because if you go on the dyno, you're actually not going to see a power gain per se, but the simulation of added torque, do sprockets. They're awesome. I did the Tripage white LED gauge cluster swap with the integrated gear indicator. As we know, on these 600s, there is no gear indicator stock, but on this one there is. Took this gauge cluster out and sent it down to Tripage, and I hope I'm saying that right. I hope it's not Tripage. They get to do a different color swap. Normally it's that orangish amber, and this is a bright white. I'm gonna drop the garage door just a little bit. And as you can see, it is not amber or orange at all. And the gear indicator is super bright. And I love the way it looks. It's a much more modern look than just the orange amber. So I know there's a blackout version as well, a little bit more expensive. I didn't go with that. I just wanted to kind of like an OEM plus look, and I feel like that was able to go for it. Here are the headlights. Boom. I mean, and that's on low. That's the low beams. Both on, super bright. And another little silly mod, like I said, not anything expensive. Actually, it was free, just like the rear bike strap delete. Deleted the front orange amber reflector. As you know, that kind of gets screwed on right there. And it's one of those things where when it's gone, you don't even know it's supposed to be there. Just a nice clean look. If I don't have to have extra contrasting colors that don't go with the rest of the theme, then I try to get rid of them as much as possible. But orange amber delete on the front wheel, and that's on both sides. So that is gone, and just a nice clean look. Nice super clean look. This is, I don't know, I consider it such a cheap mod. It is so much fun. I mean, once you have a quick shifter, it is just, you feel like you're cheating. It is so much fun. My younger brother got on it, and that's pretty much how he described it. It's like when you are, you know, going against a full-blown manual car, and then you get in a car with a dual clutch. Yeah, manual is more fun. It's more engaging and everything like that. Knowing that it's there, and if you want to use it, use it. If you don't want to use it, don't use it. Obviously, from a get-go, and you know, first gear, you still got to use the clutch and everything like that. And I still, like, only when it's like a dead-on pull, am I just quick shifting. Like, I love manual shifting every other time. Like, I love that engagement. I love pulling in the clutch, love, you know, the whole process. But if it comes time to do a pull, and I'm like in full tuck, absolutely, I'm using this thing. I'm just flicking up, 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 and it's nice. It's dialed in. I know there's other brands. I went with Bazzaz just because I already had Bazzaz Z Bomb, I had Bazzaz ZFI. Why not keep it in the family? So all three products, the ZFI, the Z Bomb, quick shifter, all Bazzaz. Super happy. Wouldn't have done it any other way. And last mod was the Cat Delete. Of course, this bike is only ridden off-road purposes and only for the track, of course, or in Mexico. But Cat Delete, and I will put the name of the company and brand in the description. But saved a couple pounds, and of course increased that airflow. And if you do this, definitely get it dyno tuned. Definitely get it dyno tuned. Don't do this and not get it dyno tuned. Your bike will not run perfectly. Some people say, oh, it's fine. Do you want to ride a bike that's just okay? There's the stock one. There it is. So yeah, I'd say probably, I don't know, 2-3 pounds. It's not a huge savings. It's not as big of a savings as the battery. The battery was the best 5 pounds lost, but it's not only weight, it's definitely the airflow. And if you're gonna do ZFI and you're gonna, you know, maybe do an air filter and you're gonna get dyno tuned, boom, just do it right, you know? So this was my kind of way of saving a couple dollars, not going with a full exhaust with the Akrapovic and not doing a full, just doing his slip-on. So we basically have stock headers, but then I have the Cat Delete with that straight pipe, if you will, or just, you know, the mid-pipe, and the slip-on, and it's awesome. That is every mod done to my 2011 Honda CBR600RR. Really hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, definitely comment. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up. Appreciate it. See you guys next time.